Hey guys, Reginald Duck here, back today with an Evil Eye deck profile. I've had the deck sort of on a back burner for a while, but then I saw the new supports coming out in Photon Hypernova, so I didn't see the point in profiling it to then, have to update it pretty soon. The new support is absolutely cracked. It makes the deck from just like a sort of slow control deck to a lot more combo focused, a lot more consistent, so let's get into it. So for the main deck, I've got 3 copies of Cerzial, Watcher of the Evil Eye. So this, when it's normal summoned, you can search an Evil Eye spell or trap, and then if it's equipped with Evil Eye of Selene, which is the main equip card for the deck, it gets the effect, quick effect. Once per turn during the player's turn, you can destroy a special summon monster your opponent controls. And then during your turn, during your standby phase, if you use that effect, then you destroy one card you control. So you can destroy the field spell, whatever you want. So this card is insanely good, just a really good sort of control card. So 3 copies. It's also your main starter for the deck. For the new card, got 3 copies of Basil Trice, Familiar of the Evil Eye. This card is insanely good. The cards you played before, the Basilisk and the, I don't even know how to pronounce it, Catapulus maybe? It's basically a fusion of both. It summons itself from hand or graveyard if you control an Evil Eye monster. And then it banishes when it leaves the field, which is normal for stuff that comes back from grave. So basically it can summon itself for free, and then if it's in the graveyard or hand, once you've summoned it for free, you can then quick effect, link summon, use in your opponent's turn using itself, other materials, and you can use the equip spell as well. So you can just get loads of free link material and then just summon in your opponent's turn. So really strong card. Got the one Basilisk. It summons itself from hand if you control an Evil Eye, and then it has an effect where you can just send one, so you could send a Garganeo. It doesn't even come up that much anymore, the send effect. A lot of times I'll summon this and not send because of the new Evil Eye spell. There's just no point, you already send the one card that needs sending. It can come up, but I don't tend to send unless I need to. So 1 copy, just a free special summon. 1 Catapulus, I think it is, yeah. So very similar to the Basilisk, except this one just summons from graveyard and banishes when it leaves the field, but obviously you want to overlay with it. Just an extra body, also a fiend, so really good. We're playing the 1 copy of Archfiend Heiress. There is a combo with the Archfiend link where you can send this to search for the Archfiend Ghastly Glitch. So really good, just try not to draw it, do your best. Onto the hand traps, got 3 copies of Nibiru. I really like it, this format. Basically just an out to Kashtira. I'm playing a lot of Kashtira hate in the main hand side because I do not like facing that deck. I feel the ability to lock 5 zones a little much, so I like playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So there you go. 3 copies of Ash Blossom. It's okay against Cash, it's okay against, that's good against a lot of decks, especially branded. So 3 Ash. Then onto the spells, got 3 copies of Evil Eye Domain Pareidolia. So the main effects you want to use is just the search effect. So on activation, search. And then it protects your guys from battle, I believe. Let me just read. Oh, sorry, it does the damage to your opponent. And then if it's shot by card effect, I can add an Evil Eye from graveyard to hand. So generally you want to destroy this with Cerzial in your turn. But it's just generally 3 additional copies of Cerzial. 3 of the new card, 3 Evil Eyes Unleashed. This card is absolutely cracked. There is so much text on this card. So basically, for cost, you send an Evil Eye monster and an Evil Eye spell or trap. So you send the Garganeo, the Searcher, and the Basil Trice, which will come back, to then search for the Evil Eye of Selene. Then if this is in graveyard, if you link summon, you can banish this to re-equip the Selene. So your Evil Eye monsters only have an effect when equipped with Selene, the XYZs, sorry, the link monsters. So then you just banish this after quick linking in their turn and then reattach the Selene. So this card absolutely breaks the deck. Every single combo you do involves this card. If you don't resolve this, you're probably not going to win. So 3 copies. 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. This card's kind of awkward. There's so much good stuff in the extra deck. Sometimes I only banish 3, but it's a deck of 1 card starters. If you do not have your 1 card starter, you need to dig, because otherwise you're just going to lose. You need either the field spell, the Unleashed, or you need Cerzial. so you just need at least one copy. You've got 2 copies of Evil Eye of Selene. This card is actually really good. So the main effect is if it's in your graveyard, you can pay 1,000 life points to set it. Well, you set it then lose 1,000 life points, and then you can equip it to an Evil Eye monster, and it can't destroy a battle, can't be destroyed by card effects, can't be targeted, and then each time it activates its effects, it gains 500 attack permanently, even if the card leaves the field. Then you lose 500 life points, and each time you activate an Evil Eye card, your guy gains 500, you lose 500. So really cool. Yeah, I really like this card a lot. 2 copies of Gorgon-io. Really good card. So basically you send it to grave, banish it, discard a card, search an Evil Eye spell or trap, but also you can actually equip it, and your guy gains attack equal to how much lower your life points are than your opponents, so it can just make your guys massive as well. Also, it's treated as Evil Eye of Selene while on the field, so you could equip this so you're not paying life points all the time and still have you guys get their effects. Got 2 copies of Evil Eye Awakening. It's like a monster reborn from the deck, but better. So it's obviously searchable because it has Evil Eye in the name. You can summon from hand or graveyard, but if you control Evil Eye of Selene, you can also summon from deck, so you can get any pieces you're missing. Really cool. 1 terraforming, just an extra copy of the field spell, so you're actually playing 10 1-card starters with this. 3 infinite impermanence, just more hand traps. Don't hand trap Sarah. The trap tricks link, really good. Other than that, it's good against everything, doesn't trigger thrust or talents, so 3 copies. 3 Gozen match. Generally all your stuff that's at least in engine is dark, but there's a lot of different rank 3s you can make that are wind, that are this, that are that, but this card absolutely murders Kashtira, so you can just play a sort of slower control deck. You know, you can still make break sword if you did want to out your Gozen for whatever reason, but generally you can only make 1 rank 3 per turn, so if you outed the Gozen, you therefore can't make something that isn't dark anyway, but still like it at 3. And then we've got 1 copy of Evil Eye Defeat. It's searchable, it's a compulse. If you control Selene, it is a double compulse, but you don't have to compulse 2, so you can still just bounce 1, so return to the hand. Really good. 1 Evil Eye Retribution. It's a counter trap that negates spells or traps, and then if you control Evil Eye of Selene, your opponent can't respond to it. So it's already supposed to be 3 anyway, but I mean they can't Judgment in, for example. So really cool. And then lastly, got the 1 Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch. So basically, the Archfiend link sends the Heiress. Heiress, when it's sent to graveyard, searches this. Activate this, send a Basiltrice, and then destroy a card on the field, then send Basiltrice. So really strong. That's it for the main deck. I'm going to show you the extra deck. So onto the extra. Got 2 copies of Gorgon, Empress of the Evil Eye. A lot of the time I don't actually end on this because with some of the combos this would be summon number 5, so I'd rather just end on like a Cerziel for example, but you can still make this. So basically if it's equipped with Evil Eye of Selene, then it gets this quick effect where it can negate a face-up monster on the field, and then during your turn it negates something it points to, so either your guy or their guy, but if you want to dodge it, just place something where it's not pointed to. So really cool. 2 copies of Cerziel, the Link 3. So this one is very similar to Cerziel, except it can destroy any card rather than a special summon monster. So just quick effect, destroy, and then negate something it points to in your turn. Got the 1 Master King Archfiend. This card is really good. I use it in basically every combo unless I draw the Heiress. Basically, when you take damage, you can then send something from deck to grave, a fiend, with the same attack or defense as that damage. So the Selene costs 1,000 from grave, so it comes to set it back, and then this triggers sending the Heiress, which will then get you a search. So really cool, just a sort of extra climbing step. There's some combos where you can end on the Gorgon in your turn, but it takes you to 5 summons, whereas you can end on this and like a Cerziel, and then you got the trap and the Selene, so the Cerziel will be a pop. and you've got the Basil trees to then go into the link in their turn, so you're not using your 5 summons for Nibiru. So 1 copy. 1 Nightmare Phoenix. It is a fiend, so if you're locked under rivalry and you actually did want to out it for whatever reason, you could just get rid. Also very easy to make, just a good discard outlet. You can get rid of dead cards in hand, like a Catapulus I think it's called. So just 1 copy. Then for the XEs, we've got 1 Phantom Knight's Breaksword. You can out your own Gozen if you really want to, destroy Gozen, destroy whatever they've got. Then you could, for example, put a Zeus on top of it. Really good card. Just a general good rank 3 all round. And you want to use your rank 3s rather than your links a lot of the time, because then you guys stay in grave. Got the 1 copy of Fortune Tune. Just can't be destroyed by battle, so it's a good way of making Zeus. Just crash it in, detach 1, and then just summon Zeus main phase 2. Got 1 copy of Gossip Shadow. I make this card all of the time. So basically, the only effect we use is the effect where it can detach 2, make one of your opponent's monster effects, both players draw 1 card. So it basically negates Nibiru, at least for the turn. Doesn't destroy it, which is a shame, so you still have to play around it for the rest of the game, but it is really good to have. Also, its defensive is massive, so they can't just run over it then, you know, do something that needs negating. 1 copy of Cicada King. It's similar to the Gossip Shadow, but a bit different. So you detach and negate a monster effect on the field, so it can't negate hand, but just on the field. And then it gains 500 defense, but it only detaches 1, so you can do 1 their turn, 1 your turn. Also, it doesn't make your opponent draw a card, so I don't know which is better, so I am playing both. 1 Downward Magician, just put it on top and then just an extra material for Zeus. 1 Stone King Darius, just requires 2 Fiend monsters, but then you can actually rank this up by just placing this on top of it. So the Deus Machine X, or Machine X, sorry. So then you just summon this. It's awkward because summoning this requires 4 summons in itself. You've got the 2 Fiends, you've got the Darius, then you've got this. But it is a really strong card. So if your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, detach 2 to attach that monster to it, and it's not once per turn. So it already has 3 materials, to detach 2, steal 1, so it's got another 2 materials, so you get to change of heart 2 of your opponent's cards. So really good card. But it always walks into Nibiru, is what I'm saying. And lastly, 2 copies of Zeus. I feel you have to play 2 because of the Diablosis in the Kashtira match. You want to just have an extra one so they can't just rip apart your extra deck and you don't have Zeus. So just the 2 copies. That's it for the extra deck. So for the side deck, I'm playing 3 copies of Chaos Hunter. I quite like this against the Kashtira match because you can't really play lands here in this deck because it prevents both players banishing, but you want to just still be able to banish the Evil Eyes Unleashed, you know, during your opponent's turn to re-equip the Selene. So basically your opponent special summons, you discard a card, summon Chaos Hunter, your opponent cannot banish cards. So they can't Fenrir this, they can't Diablosis you, they can't do anything really. So it's really hard for them to get over without, you know, wasting a lot of resources. So 3 copies. 3 copies of Bestial Magnamot. I'm not playing a big Bestial engine because I don't think that I'm more worried about cash than any other deck at the minute, but just 3. So basically if your opponent controls a monster, this becomes a quick effect to banish a light or dark from either player's graveyard, summon it, then on summon you activate the effect and it'll search another dragon monster except Magnamot in the end phase. So 3 copies. Got the 1 Druis Worm, this is just the target to search off it. So when this one's sent from field to graveyard, it just sends a card your opponent controls. So same summoning condition, same sort of DD Crow like effect. So just 1 copy. I'm just playing the 1 Kaiju because I feel you have to mix it up with your side deck. You can't just play loads of like the same type of removal for Kashtira because then they could, you play Eclipse, they'll lock out your back row. You play Nibiru, they'll summon say 4 times, whatever. So I'm liking different types of removal. So a Kaiju, some Book of Eclipses, some of this, some of that. So I'm not sure on the ratios. I might bump this up by getting rid of some of the Bestials, but I don't want to just main and side for cash because Rogue is massive and you'll just lose. So 1 copy. got the 3 Eclipse. Again, just a different type of removal. They will see it coming because I mean everyone's on Eclipse, but that doesn't mean it's not good. So hopefully you have our back row. So 3 copies basically. You can do it. If you go first, you can set it to book their entire field, but ideally you'd go second. You just book their entire field. You're no longer zone locked, and the board isn't actually that strong. It's just big, so you can just sort of out it one at a time. They are still treated as special summon monsters, I believe, so you can still pop them, but ask your judge or do it on an online simulator, see what happens. Then we've got 1 Duster, because trap decks are really strong right now, especially Labyrinth, and that new Traptrix deck is actually quite good. So 1 copy. Although against the Traptrix deck you do have quite a good matchup, because you can just keep destroying the Sarah over and over again on a quick effect. And you've got 3 copies of Evenly Matched. Just banish Kashtira boards, banish whatever. I really like this card in basically every deck at the minute. So that's it for the side deck. I'm going to do a combo video, but I'll do that separately because it might be quite long. So please like, comment, subscribe, and that'll be coming soon.